Alright, welcome back to another World of Warships. Now today, we have a special treat. It's Leander, and it's not just Leander play, but it's something special with it. So today, as almost always, I start off loading a little late. The Shinomi seems to be courting our Gade, but that'll probably change eventually. Now the CV is trying to come in and do some little hit and runs on our team over here, and I'm trying to check the scene out. There's one of the new European destroyers ahead of us,
dead ahead.
but I don't think he ends up being too much of a risk. Still trying to figure out my best target choices and where exactly I want to set up shop. Currently, trying to avoid this rock because, you know, none of us like to tactical beach. Forward a little bit. Now here comes the planes again. Luckily, he drops on me, but fortunately they don't hurt very as much as one might think.
Smoke generator
So
started.
here I'm putting down smoke to do various gunboat things. Trying to get a beat on that warspite. Drop some torpedoes, hoping to get it. Pretty much so far it seems to be an average game, and now hoping he'll run into those torpedoes, but it doesn't seem like he will yet. And then just trying to aim for his superstructure and hoping to do damage with my AP only round, sorry. And he starts turning broadside, so I'm feeling a little good about this. Up until this point, I've been having a real bad time with Royal Navy cruisers, light cruisers anyways, just because the AP seems like a very situational thing, and I only always have AP. Now, as you saw, I took care of that warspite, torped it to death, and it was a good run for me. I think it's at this point I'm starting to wonder about staying in the smoke for very long. I always try to keep a lookout on my smoke timer up in the top left. But you know, I'm still trying to pick off some of these DDs and just see what extra damage I can rack up before I inevitably die or get torpedoed, as is usually my MO. Here comes the Trento, and I try to pop him a few times. Now this was actually recorded yesterday, so I don't always immediately remember everything, but I see a maybe Citadel start to line up, and I know where he's coming from. I have left my smoke, and I try to always remember to use my priority sector on planes, so I actually have above average plane kills, I think, in my stats. Now here I see a destroyer boy trying to sneak off towards our CV. Always trying to keep a look at the mini-map and try to see who's within my firing range and who's not. I end up being able to snipe that little destroyer boy before he can make his way all the way over to our CV or our backlines, because nobody wants a destroyer behind them, because they just sneak up and torpedo everyone, which is usually what I try to do during clan battles when I play Shimakaze. Now again, I'm looking up for the planes here, watching to make sure he doesn't get in sideways, but fortunately for me, he does end up only having one plane and probably failed to deliver. I can't quite hit that DD over there because he is pretty much way out of my range. I'm noticing the cruisers and two destroyers up here towards my right, and wondering how to take that. I've heard that British or Royal Navy AP is a lot like SAP. So I'm trying to engage this frigate from a safe distance, but he goes dark, as is many destroyers' priorities. Now I see this one on the right, and so I try to drop another smoke screen, and I try to see the CV there, but he's also pretty far out of my range, so I'm not going to be shooting at him. I take a shot and immediately regret it, but I'm still fine. I will pop a heal as soon as they are off of cooldown. I see him drop torpedoes because I have my nice little hydro on, and so I just back up, you know, casually. I see my CV popping, trying to pop that gate, or at least I assume that's what he was going for, as I'm still trying to scope around some targets. And let's move forward just a little bit faster. I peek out and I'm starting to contemplate attacking this Gade and this Trento. And there's some torpedoes, but I know I'm pretty well going to overdo it or overshoot them. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to drop torpedoes on him or if I just want to hit him. I turn left back into torpedoes so my butt swings around. And I start to try to hit him. I got all my shots off. Did not have to drop my torpedoes. And I managed to sink that destroyer. At this point, I'm like, oh god, I'm dead. Well, I'm going to go out with a blast. I'm going to drop torpedoes and see how many people I can hit before I actually sink. Funny story about me is a lot of times I'm like, oh, I'm going to die. This is the end of me. And then somehow I don't. And this is one of those times where I just don't somehow. I pop my thing into him and immediately get 3 citadels. But the kill snapped up for me. Damn. However, this Nuremberg over here, this Nuremberg looks promising. I quickly snap towards the planes and end up shooting them down again, using that priority sector, whatever it's called, for my gun, for my AA, or priority sector. That's a commander skill, the where you hit the tilde button and end up shooting there. Now this Nuremberg, he also needs to just stop. And I'm trying to prevent him from going anywhere. And as you can see, I pull off a Kraken. Or, I get him. And the next kill is actually my first Kraken. And, as I probably just spoiled it, I'm still limping pretty hard at this point. You know, I've been hit pretty hard. I'm surprised I made it through the first time. Asking for my Kraken, not being able to get it. I try to take some pot shots at this Farragut, hoping to get it, but no, my my ally swiped it off. Well, so much for that. But still not, you know, quite ready to give up on this. I can feel it this game, you know. I'm doing really well. I almost have average damage for Yamato. Obviously not Yamato guns, because I'm only a tier 6 Leander. But I'm feeling pretty damn good about my damage right now. I'm trying to watch this Coing. They're both kind of out of my range. Coing has pretty good armor for my piddly Royal Navy Leander guns. But this Arc Royale, I'm like, you know, maybe, just maybe, I can snipe this kill. So I kind of stay dark for a little while. Also, I'm low-key worried about those 2 battleships around me. You know, I don't know their firing range. So I'm trying to line it up. I'm like, I'm going to wait till this guy's almost dead. Gonna wait till he's almost dead. And then I'm going to kill him. Which is why I'm slowing way the hell down. And there's my chance. I fire, hoping to God I'll hit him. And I don't. And then I do. And I'm like, yes. I thought for sure I wasn't gonna get it, and I got it. And at this point, I'm freaking out because I'm like, this was my Kraken, this was my swan song, and I hit it hard. At this point, I don't care if we win or lose, which I lie, I actually did. I cared a lot, but we end up winning. Although the entire time I get nervous that we are in fact going to lose. Interestingly enough, earlier I had one shot of Smolensk to my Yamato, and I really wanted to upload that game, but nothing eventful happened after that for me at all, remotely, not even kind of. If I had some editing software, I probably could make a compilation of just me ripping into my enemies, even if nothing else happens the rest of the match. But, you know, it's whatever. I'm trying to hit this coin. I'm like, can I get above a Kraken? Is this what it's like? But sadly, I only hit that one Kraken. Can't snipe anything off him. And the rest of the game is pretty much just me trying not to die, but eventually I do in fact die. I think it's to New Mexico. I dropped torpedoes in Warren, can't English this early in the morning, apparently. Warren the Shinomi that I was going to drop torpedoes. I dropped them, but sadly they are to no avail. Just moving forward a little bit, so even though the game's pretty much over at this point, but remember, since this is the middle of it, see, I think I might get this one too, but you know, AP on a battleship isn't actually gonna do very much to him. Still trying though, like I said, always trying to get the most damage I can in before I die, which in this case I'm just excessively close to dying. I actually see me almost managing to get him, and then he almost kills me, think he's gonna kill me, he gets one over a pen, and as you know, RN Jesus is sometimes kind to you. So now it's just the Iron Duke. I'm still thinking that maybe there's a way on God's green earth I can pick up another kill. So I'm trying to snail around, and actually, even though I'm hurting right now, it's not going to help anybody for me to go limp away, you know, do the whole thing where I just try not to die. I'm scared of losing at this point, my first Kraken. I don't want a loss. It looks like a definitely win, but I can't let that sink in. I know before I said that I wasn't going to care if we win or lost this game, but let's face it. You think about it for more than 1 or 2 seconds, you care. You care a lot. Now I'm trying to judge how far, if I can torp this Ismail or not. And believe this is the Ismail that ends my life. I drop torpedoes on him. I'm being detected by somebody. I know it's that the other battleship near us, and I know it's him spotting me, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm putting in maneuvers to try to dodge, duck, and roll, and hoping that that Ismail comes around that corner at the exact right time that I can torpedo him. But here comes my death, but he misses, because that's what I always say, even when I'm in game. And I know I'm trying to chuck at him, and about this time, the Ismail is about ready to come around the corner. Should have waited on the torpedoes. I try to put some more rounds into him, but he catches me on fire with like 3 different fires, and I'm just regretting my life. I now have 2 people aiming at me, and I think this is the salvo. Yep, that was the salvo that ends my life. And somehow I made a sneak peek at the submarines. I just in case that doesn't show up on the feed, but basically you had the camera go underwater for a bit. The CV pretty much finishes off that Ismail, and I'm still a little worried because it's 3-2, but I've seen some things in my day. We end up winning the game, and you know what? At this point, I'm still extremely excited. I probably screamed a little bit more than I should have in the win. I'm just ecstatic for the rest of the night, pretty much. Playing for, what, 2 years maybe, I think? No Krakens. Finally, a Kraken. You know, I am excessively surprised. I even plugged my YouTube channel, like I always do, because why not? And if I didn't mention it before, please give a like, subscribe, whatever. Would help the channel out and stuff. And now, as we can see, it's a Iron Duke. He's not fast enough to really do anything, even if he wanted to. We still have our CV. We still have a battleship whose CV is relatively full health. And then that's the game.